Hello and welcome back. So here we are again. Since the last time, this wall has gone up, windows are in. I'll show you indoors. So I've left this gap for access just for now, but inside you can see the floor is now fully in. We ended up in the end jacking up this end and making it slightly out of level to match up with the existing house, and there you go, straight in on the existing house, no problem at all nice and level through there. We built up the 3 pillars, went down to the blockwork and built that up, ready to carry the steels, and then we had a gang of guys come round and heave in the steels in place. This is actually the smallest one, was the most awkward one, but we got it in eventually. Only took about an hour and a half maybe in total to get that done. And then sort of one bolted in on that side and one bolted in on that side on those sole plates, which is the denser concrete blocks that won't just crumble. Then I got these timber strips drilled all the way through the steel, which took ages, but bolted that all the way through so that the roof on the other side and this new carrying plate are all sandwiched together through that RSJ with bolts all the way through, nice and tight, and ready for the main joists. And I've just tacked on these hangers today. Not entirely sure. We've got an extra one because the very end here is, they're at 600 centres, but the very last one is 680, so an extra joist has to be put in. So there is a bit of wiggle room there. I could move them all across a little bit and then put this end one here a bit closer to the edge of the wall for carrying plasterboards and that sort of thing. So I'm considering that, but I'll see how that interferes with everything else. It probably interfere with the other bolts up there, so I might not do that. I might just leave it how it is. None of this has been addressed yet, all this bird's nest. However, I did dig down, because our consumer unit is under that radiator in the kitchen. If you follow that straight down, you get to the consumer unit. So I've run in a few new cables and just put in some junctions here, so that I can, because the house doesn't actually have a ring main, it just has an old spur system. So I've put down 2 sets of 2.5mm cables down there to start a ring main. I put down a new cable for the lights, because all the cables in the house are this old black and red stuff, or black and red core. So as much as I can, I'm going to put brand new stuff in. So those 3 there, and then a 6mm which will go and feed the shed when we have a shed. It hasn't built yet, but I've got to think well ahead, so I've put that one in that runs all the way along, goes all the way through, and then into that crawl space under the floor, and then into that crawl space, and then the shed will be outside that wall down on that concrete pad eventually, down there. So then we'll have power down to that. So thinking well ahead. All this other cable work will probably be completely changed. What I'll do is I'll put a ring all the way through, and that'll come all the way around here to the corner, and then we can just the existing sockets that are here can just be spurred off it, rather than how they are right now. Just a bit better than it is right now. I've had to chop through all the lights to get everything in, so they all have to be redone as well. So I knew that'd have to happen anyway. I knew there'd be a lot of electrics to do, but everything in the house is done from upstairs, so all the sockets and lights downstairs are fed from upstairs. So from here I can redo all of it, but that isn't the priority at the moment. The priority has been to get this back wall up, and this will be the main carrying wall for the joists, and Charlie has managed that today. He's put the last bricks in today to finish that. So the windows are now all in place, all the right size, and we're ready for the joists, which are down here. I've already had them delivered. Easy joists, all ready to go. There's only 2 different lengths, and that's just to account for the slight difference in the 2 cavity walls. But they're all ready. We had a day of it. Me, Jake, and the driver, and Charlie, my son Jake, all got involved, carried all these in, and then the 86 sheets of OSB that had to be heaved off the truck and then heaved up the side of the building and stacked here. So that will be all of the OSB that sits on top of the joists, and then the insulation goes on top of that, and then there'll be another layer of OSB on top of that, which the rubber will sit on. I have now ordered pretty much everything, apart from anything I might have forgotten. But I've ordered the rubber for the roof today. I've ordered the hardy plank for the cladding on the outside. I ordered another Dewsons round and they arrived already, so we're now good for sand and cement and blocks. We've worked out the last number of blocks we're going to need just to finish, because we've got one more course all the way around the outside to do, which is one set of blocks, and we've got the rest of this wall to build. And then on the other side of that wall, there's still about 3 courses to go on the outside. So yeah, about 2 packs of blocks left to go, and then we are done with that, which will be awesome. So we really are keeping on schedule. I think we had 4 or 5 weeks last time, so we're now on 2 or 3. It's been 2 weeks, so we'll call it 2 or 3 weeks until the scaffolding has to go. So we have to keep this pace up and get the roof on next. So everything has to be ordered and brought in and ready. But it's all ordered. And next week is just going to be delivery after the delivery, I think. My calendar is full of them. But there we go. I know there's not much else to talk about really, because it's just one big thing, but it's happened, it's done. I've just mapped out how the new solar panels are going to be put on the flat roof. I didn't know whether I could reuse. I kept all the brackets that we used on the roof in case they could be used, but I found, I think it's called K2, the manufacturer, do a system which is perfect for flat rubber roofs. So it comes with like sealed screws and that sort of thing, so that when you do have to screw down into the surface of the roof, the rubber is protected and you don't get any leaks. So that's another consideration there. Windows are all here, we just haven't put them in yet. The only thing I have done, I've queried building regs, because Alandi came round and threw a spanner in the works, because usually you'd put a wall plate along the top and sit your joists on it. But because the insulation is so thick, 150, I actually want to build the blocks higher on the outside, so actually the joists then sit inside, and then by the time you get the insulation on top and then the OSB on top, that levels off at the top and then goes over the edge, rather than having this great big huge fat slab on top of the roof. So I need you to query building rigs just to make sure that I'm not missing something and that I don't need a wall plate, because I'm actually building up and through and past them, similar to how you would with the floor joist, like down here. It's probably a good way to explain it. So like with the floor joist, you build on top of the box, there's no plate, and then you build up, around it. So that's what we want to do with those, and I imagine it's just a set of straps you use instead. But I've queried building regs anyway, so best to be right with them than do it wrong and have to take it all apart again. So that might take 10 days, but they've always been really quick in the past. So there we go. Not much else to say. The doves tried to make another nest, and I told them not to. I had a strong word with them. I even sort of dissuaded them by pulling out a few of the early strands, but they ended up building a nest anyway. And of course the wind knocked it and blew it, and there was an egg in it, and it catapulted the egg out, and now the doves don't have a nest. So I feel really bad about that, but I tried to stop them. But there's not much you can do. They won't listen. Oh well, I guess I'll see you guys in about 2 weeks.